Hey, what's up guys? Over here at NutriSport again, talking a little bit about digestion, proper digestion, how to maximize digestion. Why is digestion important? Better absorption of whatever nutrient you're ingesting. What is digestion? It's breaking food down into smaller pieces, more manageable pieces so that we can absorb those nutrients for better recovery, for better tissue repair, for better energy. What do we do to maximize digestion, Ben? I mean, what can we take from a supplement standpoint to kind of maximize the digestive process?
There's three big ones. We can take digestive enzymes, probiotics, and fiber.
Yep, absolutely. What are enzymes, and what do they do?
Enzymes essentially break down what you've ingested into smaller, more manageable pieces.
Exactly. Yeah, we have big pieces of food, big molecules, guys, and within the intestine, and that's where absorption of a nutrient takes place. There's small little tiny absorption sites, so if we don't break our proteins, our carbs, our fats down into smaller pieces, how are we going to be able to get these nutrients through that little small intestinal passageway where it can absorb? Ben's right. Enzymes. Kind of demonstrate a little bit here, guys. This is an enzyme product. It's got enzymes that help to break down all the different types of macronutrients. Macronutrients being protein, carbs, fats. How do we take these? Explain to people how we take the enzymes to maximize breakdown of food.
Honestly, dude, I don't know that.
You're not positive?
I mean, take it before food. That's
Absolutely. He's right. Good guess. Enzymes help to break food down, guys, so when should we take them? Right before we eat. I mean, right before we start eating, pop the enzyme pill. It'll be in the stomach, so once the protein, once the carbs, once the fats dump into the stomach, we have something to start breaking down that food particle or those food particles into smaller pieces, allowing for better absorption. So that's a good, I think, discussion on enzymes. What's the second digestive helper that's going to ultimately allow for optimal nutrient absorption? Probiotics. And what are they? Just kind of explain briefly what they are.
Those are the healthy bacteria that live inside of our intestinal tract that break down the smaller pieces that don't necessarily get absorbed.
Great explanation. Absolutely. Sometimes, guys, I mean, yeah, we'll break down a piece of food into a smaller, more manageable piece, but we're not breaking it down completely. So we'll start to get a little bit of, if you will, food particles that haven't been digested that start to adhere to that intestinal wall. Probiotics, like Ben said, they're good, healthy bacteria that ultimately are going to micro digest or work on a micro level as far as digestion. They get up underneath a lot of this literal crud that has all kinds of toxins and bad bacteria adhering to it and start breaking it up and loosening it up from that intestinal wall, allowing us to ultimately get rid of it. How do we get rid of a lot of, those toxins, that undigested food?
That brings us to fiber.
Exactly. Third ingredient, if you will, fiber. Psyllium, specifically, is going to help to grab a lot of these toxins, a lot of this undigested food that the probiotics help to loosen off of the intestinal wall, and it flushes it out of your GI, the gastrointestinal tract. How do we take fiber?
Dude, I don't know how to take fiber.
Don't take fiber? You don't eat vegetables?
Me? No.
Not really? You gotta eat more vegetables. Oh yeah, that's why you take your
That's
greens.
why I take a ton of cider greens.
Fiber, guys, I think there's, and yeah, it's a good lead into the greens too.
I actually mentioned that in the Cyto Greens video that I take exclusively Cyto Greens personally, 3 times a day.
Morning, post-workout, prior to bedtime. So when's a good time to take fiber? First thing in the morning, a tablespoon typically of this fiber good idea to go ahead and mix it with the greens, because what are they going to do? Going to help to flush literally all that undigested stuff out of your body. Why is that important? Why is it important to get rid of everything from the colon, from the intestines, essentially clean up the gastrointestinal tract? It's the theme, absorption. Absorption. We want to maximize absorption. So sometimes too, guys, we're going to start to get undigested food particles that start to plug or clog those little absorption sites in the intestines, not allowing for absorption. So these guys, the probiotics, the good bacteria, again, they help to get up underneath all of that literal crud, microdigest it, loosen it up, the greens, and then this fiber helps to push it out, flush it out, re-exposing a lot of these absorption sites in the small intestine, so the nutrients that are delivered ultimately later are going to be absorbed and delivered more efficiently where they need to go, and that's the cells and tissues of the body. So to kind of recap, what are we talking about today? We're talking about digestion, maximizing digestion, enzymes. These guys right here help to, like Ben said, break food particles into smaller, more manageable pieces, allowing for better absorption. Even though these are going to help to digest or break down food into smaller pieces, sometimes you still get small little microparticles that'll start adhering to the intestinal wall, and that's where our probiotics, or good healthy bacteria, come in. They micro-digest all of this stuff, and they also kill the bad bacteria that start to form and thrive and grow when we have some undigested food within the intestines. Once the probiotics, or the good bacteria, kill the bad bacteria and get rid of, or loosen, I should say, all of these undigested food particles, the psyllium, which is the fiber, and the greens, they help to attach or adhere to a lot of these particles and flush them out or move them out.
So are you implying that this stack is going to help me maximize the absorption of all of my other supplements that I'm taking?
Absolutely. And great point, great question. What are we trying to get to, guys? If we don't absorb a nutrient, you're not going to get, well, the full benefit of that nutrient. And many times we don't absorb the nutrient, one, because we're not getting good digestion of that nutrient. Two, sometimes, well, undigested food starts to plug up the absorption sites within the small intestine, further disallowing the absorption of the nutrient. And that means recovery is going to be negatively impacted. We're not going to necessarily have the bioavailability or the absorption capability of any nutrient that we're trying to take in, because we're not maximizing the absorption of him. And let's face it, if we have a lot of stuff within the GI, unfortunately now we can start to get some of these bad guy toxins absorbing into the body, and that's called leaky gut syndrome. Not a good thing. That can lead to a lot of different autoimmune responses, and ultimately that's going to negate progress. So how do we take all these things again to recap? This is before we eat, always before a meal. The enzymes, the probiotics are always after a meal, and then the psyllium, it can be taken by itself. We suggest taking it with the greens that you're taking in the morning and right before bed, because that's when you should take the fiber as well. And these two babies are going to help to flush out everything.
We're essentially supercharging our cytogreens.
We're supercharging the cytogreens. Good point. Absolutely. And one last point to mention, if we have a clean gastrointestinal tract, that's going to dictate a stronger, healthier immune system, period. Immunity results from one thing, and that's how clean or unclean the GI is. So let's maximize digestion, let's maximize absorption, and let's keep our colon, our gastrointestinal tract, clean.
And ultimately, wouldn't it stand to reason that this also is going to improve pH as well?
Absolutely.
Since we're removing some of these toxins?
Yep. Last video with the greens, guys, we talked about the importance of pH. making our bodies more alkaline, less acidic. Toxins that are undigested within the gastrointestinal tract, they are going to literally lower your pH or make you more acidic, and that causes all kinds of problems. You don't absorb nutrients, cells don't communicate effectively, recovery isn't going to be as, well, immediate, it's going to lag actually, and ultimately our vulnerability toward getting sick, that's going to increase exponentially. So, excellent point by Ben. I think that wraps it up as far as digestion. Any questions, guys? Any comments? Just go ahead and leave those below, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.